This is the AI News Flash for August 9th, 12 p.m. UTC. First up, Nvidia is considering cutting the high bandwidth memory on its next-generation Rubin Ultra AI chip by as much as 81% from the original plan, according to Seoul Economic Daily. The original design called for 1 terabyte. The samples currently in testing carry between 192 and 256 gigabytes. Since the current Rubin generation tops out at 288 gigabytes, the next generation part could ship with less memory than the one it replaces. The reason is supply. No memory maker can produce enough 12-high HBM4E to meet the launch schedule. TrendForce expects DRAM overall to stay tight through 2027, limiting the wafer capacity that can be allocated to HBM, and estimates memory could account for 29% of the cost of an entire rack. Nvidia signed a $500 billion infrastructure partnership with SK Group last month, specifically to lock in HBM supply. Having to change the silicon design anyway tells you something. Even the largest buyer in the market now has to design around what memory makers can actually deliver. Second, San Francisco startup Sapiom has raised a $35 million Series A, led by Dragonfly. Among the investors is Anthropic. Sapiom's product is a router that sits between AI agents and the models they call. It sends each request to the cheapest model capable of handling it, rather than the most expensive one, and it enforces spending limits before the cost is ever incurred. The results are concrete. Polzia, an AI startup running swarms of agents, cut its monthly Anthropic bill from $1.2 million to roughly $100,000, a tenfold reduction. Sapiom has processed more than 270 million transactions in its first 6 months of operation, and total funding now stands at $50 million, 11 months after founding. The striking part is that Anthropic is funding a company built to reduce payments to Anthropic. Founder Ilan Zerbib frames it as aligned rather than adversarial. Cheaper inference means companies build more agents, and some of those agents still need frontier models. The model providers are starting to bet on volume over unit price. The third, Michael Kratsios, the White House Science and Technology Advisor, says some companies are blaming artificial intelligence for layoffs they would have carried out anyway. Speaking on the Moonshots podcast, Kratsios said, quote, "A lot of folks these days, when they're doing a layoff that they would have done anyway, just like to assign it or blame it to AI because it plays better in the press." Host Peter Diamandis noted that stock prices tend to rise when investors believe a company is producing more revenue with fewer people, and Kratsios agreed. The pattern is visible in the record. Microsoft cut 4,800 roles while denying AI displacement, and Meta cut roughly 8,000 positions while moving 7,000 employees into AI divisions. Torsten Slok, chief economist at Apollo Global Management, has said there is zero evidence AI has triggered widespread job losses, and Jeff Bezos has rejected mass unemployment forecasts outright. Having the phrase AI washing come from inside the administration could change what companies are expected to prove when they cite AI in a layoff. Fourth, California lawmakers are weighing a bill that would bar companies from marketing AI chatbots as therapy. Senate Bill 903 was introduced by Senator Steve Padilla, a Democrat from San Diego. The bill does 3 things. It bans advertising chatbots as therapy. It prohibits AI from making therapeutic decisions without review by a licensed professional. And it requires health providers to disclose and obtain patient consent before using AI to record therapy sessions or to triage mental health care. Padilla says the intent is to draw a line. AI can handle administrative work and support clinicians, but it cannot practice psychotherapy. The bill is backed by professional associations representing psychologists, therapists, and counselors, along with the National Union of Healthcare Workers. Leandra Clark Harvey, chief executive of the California Behavioral Health Association, told lawmakers that without clear safeguards, chatbots can give inaccurate information or mishandle a crisis. TechNet, representing the tech sector, argues the bill would restrict beneficial uses of AI in healthcare. It now awaits a vote in the Assembly's Fiscal Committee. Fifth, researchers at the Korea Institute of Science and Technology have built the world's first brain-computer interface chip that reads electrical and optical signals simultaneously on a single semiconductor. The work appears in the journal Advanced Science. The target is neuron classification. The problem of telling which signal came from which type of cell. Elon Musk's Neuralink has not solved it. Rather than waiting for light to travel out through scattering brain tissue, the KIST team put the sensor inside the brain to collect light right next to the cells. The implementation is 832 light-sensing elements embedded across 13 hair-thin silicon probes. Because it is fabricated with standard CMOS processes and 3D printing, manufacturing cost falls to roughly 1/100th of conventional approaches. In mouse trials, it distinguished both firing timing and cell type at the same time. The lead researcher Lee Chang-hyuk of the KIST Brain Science Institute is targeting precise diagnosis and treatment of dementia, Parkinson's disease, and depression. With South Korea designating BCI a foundational technology under its K-Moonshot program, cutting the cost barrier by a factor of 100 is what makes deployment plausible. But that's all for this AI News Flash.